So, what if one of the most intense verses in the entire book of Revelation isn't actually about a future apocalypse at all? Today, we're going to unpack a single verse that, when you look at it through a symbolic lens, might just reveal a powerful spiritual reality that's happening right here, right now. Okay, here it is Revelation chapter 9, verse 21. And yeah, on the surface, it looks pretty grim, right? It just reads like a list of humanity's absolute worst offenses. But what if we're meant to look deeper? What if these words, murders, sorceries, what if they aren't literal at all? Let's dig in and find out. All right, here's our game plan for this explainer. We'll kick things off with this idea of a hardened heart. Then we'll dive into those 4 specific things they refuse to do. After that, we're going to decode the symbols, which is the really fun part. Then we'll zoom out to see the bigger picture and wrap it all up with what this could mean for the church today. All right, let's get right to the heart of it. At its core, this verse is all about a really deep, stubborn refusal to change. It's not just about messing up. It's about digging your heels in, even when the truth is staring you right in the face. And to really get this, we've got to go back to the original Greek. The word they use for repent is metanoel. Now, this word is so important. It doesn't just mean saying you're sorry. It means a complete change of mind, like a total 180, a complete turnaround. And the verse is crystal clear. That is exactly what didn't happen. And here's where it gets really interesting. This is a crucial point. See, this might not be about individual bad guys at all. It's more like a symbolic takedown of a whole religious system that's just hardened. A system that's got the form of godliness down pat. It looks right, it sounds right, but the actual power, the spirit behind it, is just gone. Okay, so let's get into the specifics because this is where the indictment really builds. The verse gives us this indictment in 4 parts, and try not to think of them as just a laundry list of sins. Think of them more like 4 giant pillars holding up this whole structure of spiritual failure. So, what are they? Murders, sorceries, fornication, and thefts. I mean, that's a heavy list, right? But again, we're being invited to look past the literal meaning and decode the spiritual symbols behind each one. So let's start peeling back those layers. Okay, this is where things get really, really cool. We're going to decode these 4 words and see the deeper spiritual reality they're pointing to. All right, first on the list, murders. So spiritually speaking, what does murder mean here? Well, it's not just about literally killing someone. It's about silencing the truth. It's about killing the message of the prophets and, ultimately rejecting Jesus himself. It's what happens when you defend your old, dead traditions by attacking the very people God sends with a living word. Next up, we've got sorceries, and the Greek word here is pharmakeia, which is just a fascinating word. Now, in this context, it's all about religious manipulation. It's what happens when the real spirit has left the building, and the system has to fall back on superstition, empty rituals, and a bunch of man-made rules just to keep control and look holy on the outside. It's a complete spiritual counterfeit. The real deal is gone. Okay, number 3 on the list, fornication. And symbolically, this is all about spiritual adultery. It's when you turn away from God and put your trust in something else. Could be political power, could be money, could be anything really. Any idol. It's basically breaking that divine covenant, that sacred relationship. And that brings us to the last one, thefts. So you might be asking, how can a whole religious system commit theft? Well, it does it by robbing God of the real, from-the-heart worship that he's due. And at the same time, it's exploiting the people through corrupt religious practices. It's exactly what Jesus was talking about when he called the temple a den of thieves. That's the perfect picture of this idea. Okay, so now that we've decoded these individual symbols, let's zoom out for a second. How does this change the way we look at all of Revelation chapter 9? Because this interpretation really makes you ask a huge question, doesn't it? Is Revelation chapter 9 describing some future physical apocalypse? Or is there another way to read this entirely? Well, according to this perspective, the answer is a pretty firm no. This way of reading it sees chapter 9 not as a blueprint for a future disaster, but as this vivid, powerful picture of spiritual realities that are already at play. It's about Jesus' finished work on the cross. It's about his total victory over death. It's about the spiritual warfare the church is in right now. And it's about the amazing power that you and I have when we cling to the truth. In the end, it all points back to a call to repent, right now. So, what's the takeaway for us right here, right now? I mean, if this isn't just about some distant future event, then there has to be a message for today, for the church. And there is. The ultimate message is a call to action. It's an invitation to walk away from any corrupt old system, any form of godliness that's just spiritually dead, and to turn straight to Jesus. He's the one who brought grace and truth through the cross. You see, this view doesn't paint a picture of the church just sitting around passively waiting for the end times. No way. It calls the church to be active. It's a call to walk in spiritual discernment, to be able to tell the difference between what's real and what's just an empty shell. It's a call to find our security in Jesus himself, not in some religious institution. And when we're secure in him, we can stand up and resist lies with the truth. We can be that light, that beacon of hope in a world that's really trapped in darkness. And all of this leaves us with one last really important question to wrestle with. If this interpretation is right, if there's a warning here against a hollow religion that looks so convincing on the outside, then the challenge for every single one of us is this. In a world that's full of spiritual counterfeits, how do we recognize and how do we hold on to the real thing?